A third of the way into the regular season, there are the DraftKings Sportsbook odds for MVP. Quarterback dominated, with the exception of Christian McCaffrey. And then we look at the odds for MVP for non-quarterbacks, led by McCaffrey, but there are the other names. Tyreek Hill's the one that stands out to me, quite frankly. Let's do a draft today, shall we, Charean, of the non-quarterback MVPs so far this season. Not a projection of who's going to win or who could win, but if we're looking at non-quarterbacks, who are the MVPs through a third of the season, you get the first pick.
Well, I'm going to go for the low-hanging fruit, but I'll say this first. I don't know who I would name of the quarterbacks as the MVP. I guess Patrick Mahomes, if I was going to vote today, you and I both have votes in this. So I think right now as we stand today that some of these guys have an opportunity to actually be the MVP of the league who aren't quarterbacks. And that hasn't happened, as we know, since 2012 with Adrian Peterson. It's been a quarterback award. But Tyreek Hill stands out to me. I'm with you 100%. Another 150-yard game. Michael David Smith wrote about it this morning. He has 42 catches, 814 yards, 6 touchdowns through 6 games. He's on pace for 119 catches, 2,306 yards, and 15 touchdowns. That would be the best season in NFL history. A wide receiver has never won the MVP award, and for a receiver to win the MVP award, I think it has to be a really special season like that. If he does that, though, Mike, it's going to be really hard not to vote for him for MVP because that's going to mean that the Dolphins are really good.
And the problem is the quarterback is the one who's going to draw the votes. And look, this is more of a conversation for another day. Chris and I alluded to it on Monday. You're going to have people out there in the voting block who like Tua and don't like Tyreek. And can they set that aside and make the right call when the time comes between Tua and Tyreek? But I'm with you. Tyreek would have been my pick. I'll go Christian McCaffrey just because the odds makers are telling me to. Yeah. Christian McCaffrey. He's the guy that makes the 49ers offense go. Now, you start missing games. Does that hurt you? We'll see if he misses time, and we'll see if that hurts him. But for now, through 6 weeks, regardless of what happens going forward, through 6 weeks, he's the non-quarterback MVP that I would take if you're taking Tyreek Hill off the board.
Yeah, and Mike, if I'm going to vote for a 49er right now, if they end up with the best record in football, which they could, we always look at the quarterback, he might be the guy rather than Brock Purdy that you look at. And so I'm with you. I would vote for Christian McCaffrey today over Brock Purdy. I'm going to take, of course, the Aggie, Myles Garrett, because you wrote about this, historically good defense, fewest yards through 5 games since the 1971 Colts. They're giving up 200 yards a game, Mike. A big reason for that is Myles Garrett. When you look at his stats, they don't scream at you MVP. 5.5 sacks, 13 tackles, 14 quarterbacks hits, a forced fumble. But it's what Chris Sims always said about Jadeveon Clowney when Jadeveon Clowney was actually kind of good, is he messes up the play, sort of said that. Not quite in those words,
yes,
but he messes up the plays,
Close.
And that's what Myles Garrett does.
I thought you were in the camp that Jadeveon Clowney's never been good, though. I don't know. Maybe there's another
I
Charean
am in
Williams
that camp.
that I...
No, I am in that camp, but I'm saying what Chris Sims said.
All right. Got it. I'll go T.J. Watt, again, through 6 weeks. I mean, the Steelers would be 1-4 right now without T.J. Watt. Their offense has not been good. That's not a secret. T.J. Watt is a guy who's been a difference maker defensively. He slammed the door on the Ravens. It created havoc there, created havoc against the Browns. A couple of divisional games they've won. Without him, they wouldn't have won those games. So I'll go T.J. Watt. There have been 2 defensive players. You mentioned no receivers ever won it. 2 defensive players have won, but not since 1986 with Lawrence Taylor.
Alan Page was the other. So I'm going to stick with defense, too, and it's unusual because we've only had those 2 defensive players ever win it. But I'm going to go defense again, and I'm going to go Micah Parsons. 5 sacks, 20 tackles, 11 quarterback hits, forced fumble recovery, touchdown. I mean, he's the best defensive player in football, I think, because he can do so many things for a defense. However, having said all that, you have to be one of the, and it's the same thing with Myles Garrett. I think you have to be one of the best teams in the NFL to win the MVP award. I mean, we just don't see it in this day and age. It's usually the best team in the NFC, the best team in the AFC, and who's the quarterback on those two teams. I think if we're going to pick a receiver or a running back or a defensive player off of those teams, they still have to be on the best team. So Micah Parsons' problem is this may be a team that doesn't even win the division. The Eagles may be that team that wins the division. So unless you win the division, we're not even going to talk about you in that MVP case.
All right, I'm going to go back to offense. And, there really aren't many other non-quarterback candidates.
Yeah.
And you said earlier, a receiver's never won the award. I don't know if a rookie's ever won it. Did Gale Sayers win it as a rookie? Maybe he did. How about Puka Nacua?
Yeah.
How about Puka Nacua with his 50 catches and 598 yards so far this season, holding the offense together for the Rams while Cooper Kupp was out. Now, Kupp is back, and Kupp had a big game statistically, and Puka didn't, so things may change. But through 6 weeks, if we're looking at it right now, he's one of the MVP candidates. It's been a great story. He's done great things. And this is also a reflection of the fact that there really isn't that running back that's just lighting it up for a team that's highly competitive right now. Derrick Henry, yes, but the Titans are 2-4. Derrick Henry's great, but the team's not good enough to get in the conversation. The Rams are better than anyone thought they were going to be, and one of the reasons why is because of their great rookie, the 5th rounder from BYU, Puka Nacua. All right, we'll take a break, and we will wrap up this Wednesday edition of PFT Live. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Everything was going so well until I blew the end of the segment. Charean, don't forget, as I did, on DraftKings Sportsbook this season, new customers can bet $5 and pocket $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, all customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every single day. Download the app and use the promo code PFTLive when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours, and I am the jester. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.